GM Fox fam, thanks for joining me. I think we're going to go ahead and get started now. We've got a good audience here, so welcome to ShapeShiftDAO weekly governance call. Thanks for pulling that, Mod Squad. This is our 32nd governance call, weekly governance call that the DAO has had. So props to all you foxes that have been along, listening in, and putting your foxes to vote and putting up proposals yourselves to help make this DAO and this product suite the best we can. If this is your first time joining us, this is our weekly call where we talk about all of the posts and proposals that are up for governance. And we go through them kind of from the things that have just passed all the way down to the things that are still early in incubation. And this is a call where we get to ask questions, go more in detail to any of these proposals. Each of the proposers will come up and chat for a little bit about what they're trying to talk to the DAO about. And if you've got questions, you can feel free to type them into the stage chat and we'll address them as we see them. There's also just raising your hand and we can bring you up on stage as well. So there's a Zoom link in the chat, in the stage chat as well, where I've got some slides that I'll be reading along from, and you can follow along to get more resources. And those slides will be shared in the recorded meetings channel after the call. So if you'd like to see any of the resources or links to all of the things we're talking about, those will all be available to you. So thanks for joining us for the call. And we're going to get right into it. Like I kind of previously mentioned, we start with proposals that have just passed and information on where to follow up with them if you'd like to keep connected to what that proposal is going to be doing, potentially if it's a work stream or something like that. Then we go into current proposals that are still active, available for people to vote for. And if you're going to vote on any of our proposals, the two places you can do so would either be Snapshot or Boardroom. You can just connect your wallet. And there's lots of different ways that we are looking at all of the Fox that's in liquidity pools or other layer 2 services, things like that. You should be able to get a vote for each of the Fox that your wallet has the keys to. So that's a cool thing that you don't have to spend your Fox to vote. You just have to prove that you're the person holding the Fox, and then you can join in part of this process. After we go through those, we'll take a look back at things that might be ready to become a proposal or are kind of in a phase of draft and development with the community that they're almost ready to become a proposal. We call this the incubation phase, or ideation phase, excuse me, that other I word. And we've got some terms to all of these sections here. There was a proposal that just passed about 3 weeks ago by our Mod Squad's Miss. That kind of outlines and details all of the timelines and the periods for going from a post in either Discord or the forum to ideation, and then the timelines that it takes to get all the way to a proposal. So if you're interested in that, please check out the proposals or governance section of the Discord or in the forum as well. There's a whole bunch of resources there. And then at the bottom here, we've got a great community governance tracker, excuse me. And this has got some more insights and stats about the maturity of our governance process, how many people are voting, the top proposals, the most contested proposals. If you have some insights you'd like to see about our governance process that you don't see collated here on the tracker, please let me know. Please let Ms. know. Operations or the Mod Squads have both had their hands in taking care of this, and we'd love to keep making it a tool that's resourceful for folks. All right. So with all that housekeeping aside, I guess we also can discuss the governance process and open QA after all of those proposals as well. Usually if you're on the call by now and you're talking with us, you kind of understand why we're doing what we're doing, but we're open to have more conversations around how we do this successfully or even iterating on this process. That's how Mrs. Proposal got to where it is now. So now that we've got to the housekeeping, we'll get right into it. But unfortunately, we don't have any active or past proposals right now. It's a little quiet over in Boardroom. So there are quite a few pieces in motion of different proposals on the forums. And I would imagine that this time next week, we will not be looking at the Lebowski Tumbleweed, but instead some proposals for people to vote on. So unfortunately, right now, we're mostly going to be looking at things that are still before you're able to vote for them. But fortunately, you're able to have some say in this, show some sentiment on whether you're interested in the proposals or not, and do any sort of commenting and questioning inside the forum post on these ones we're going to get to. I'll mention it very briefly. Ideation in Boardroom specifically is out. So we have been using the Fox forum for this second step inside our governance process, which includes a formal draft of the proposal that you're trying to pass, as well as some specific sections that you need to have outlined inside there and a poll to make sure we can see sentiment of the community. If you'd like to see the details of the template or any of those specifics, there's a link here in this slide for you to help you bring your idea into ideation and get it up for a vote eventually. Additionally, I'll say before we get into it that Boardroom has undergone a facelift, and there's some really cool new features and sections into it. If you haven't been to Boardroom in a while to vote, and that is your active place of voting, do check it out. There's even some NFTs people can claim for being early proposers and things like that. Hey, Willie, I'm sure you got some information you want to drop on Alpha on this or about Boardroom as well.
Unfortunately, I had some bad news about Boardroom's new facelift that I think they've rolled back the update. So there must have been, they rolled it out. I assume they found some blocking issues and decided it was better to roll back. So everything you're saying is true, but if you do check out Boardroom right now, it'll still look the same. But hopefully soon they'll have this new awesome version that Tyler's talking about back up. Just wanted to clarify that real quick.
Okay, yeah, I was able to click on a little banner at the top there and visit it for a second, but maybe that was a brief window before they've rolled it back. So this just gives me an excuse to use more GIFs from the wonderful Brazil when Boardroom comes back up, so you can keep looking at crazy facelift photos from me. So thanks, Willie, for that detail, and we'll keep you updated as ideation comes back up in Boardroom, and when Boardroom has these slick new features. The UI is improved. There's a whole bunch of more engagement and interaction that they're trying to kind of see. If you're already voting for one DAO here, you might as well see what's going on with the rest of the ecosystem out there and join some other DAOs and put some votes to use. So really cool things they've got going over at Boardroom, and I can't wait until all of you can see the new over there. All right. So we've got 6 posts of new forum posts, and I kind of broke them up into 2 slides. So our first round that I have on here is for Joshua AF, Conscious, and Kent, although it looks like the Joshua AF might have been retired already. But any 3 of you guys, I think you all should have the ability to jump up here on stage. We don't have to go in order, but
hey there, yes.
Just updates on your posts. GM, sir.
Joshua AF is now back, is done. Yeah, it took a long time, well, 5 days, but that's a long time in Discord land to be not allowed to access your account. So, hi everybody.
Hi, Joshua AF, we hardly knew you.
That's right. So yeah, I posted the budget report up there. The big takeaway is that we were under budget by somewhere between 150 and 200K, which is really actually not a good thing, just because it was really all salary, and it just meant we just didn't have as many resources as we would have liked. But we're taking steps, and DeFi Cafe and Ocean and others are taking steps to bring more people in a new DAO-ish way. So I think that's it. You're welcome to post questions on my post, or if there's any now, but I think that's the highlights.
My just one last question is this your last of the responsibilities you had for the engineering workstream of reporting these? Will DeFi be gracing the stage next month for the engineering workstream report, or are you going to continue to help here?
Yeah, and that's correct. This was the last requirement of the proposal that was that I sponsored and was passed back in the fall. The proposal itself dictated a report would be provided midway through and then at the end. So there is, and the current proposal that the DeFi put together did not. I don't think it stated there would be monthly budget reports. I'm not sure what it said about that, but yes, I mean DeFi, and even after this, if it's something about the engineering workstream, DeFi is he's the workstream leader. He's the main representative now. This was just the last thing from my tour of duty.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for all of your duty that you've done for us here. And it's been a pleasure to have you on the stage with us as you've been chatting for the engineering workstream. So thank you, good sir.
Cool, man. I will see you around, that's for sure.
Absolutely. GM. We also have Kent and Conscious up here on the slides. GM Kent.
Hey Tyler, how's it going?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Having a good week so far. And I was just thinking this call is one of my favorite calls of every week because it gives us kind of just a sense of what's happening, kind of a sneak peek of maybe where the DAO is headed. I feel like governance is like the beating heart of what we're doing, and as a DAO, it's so cool. Anyway, so my proposal for this week, it's in draft. This has to do with the fact that it's time to re-up tokenomics for another another period. In this case, that period is going to be just another quarter. I opted for that over like a 6-month period just because I feel like in something that moves as fast as tokenomics, our budgetary needs could potentially change in another quarter. So I thought we'd do another 3 months. Tokenomics started off in November of last year with an approved proposal that created the workstream and funded it. We've had some good progress so far. I won't actually belabor everything and go through the post in a granular fashion just because I did that during the tokenomics workstream and I want to be respectful of everybody's time on this call. Listen to the Twitch stream if you want a kind of an overview, or even better, just look at the proposal. But kind of TLDR is so far, I think we've done some cool things. We've certainly worked to diversify the treasury, notably adding around 3.5 million plus of stable coins. And then, of course, getting the workstream itself really moving. We've had some great contributions from a lot of collaborators. Let's see here, what else? And of course, finding new ways to generate or build value accrual mechanisms. Things like being able to utilize our tokenomic reactor, which yields toke rewards. We have our Fay liquidity as a service program. The nice thing is, I'm talking about these things that the workstream is doing, and it really is. I mean, we have a great network of a group of contributors here. People just who really know this stuff. I'm just fortunate as the workstream's leader to be surrounded by so many talented people on this. So anyway, moving forward, we want to reach our current goal of 10 million stables on the sidelines as a rainy day fund. That's looking good that we can achieve that in the next quarter, thanks to our Olympus bonds. Then, of course, we want to expand our diversification beyond stable coins. We've got some really good work happening on the dashboard front. In terms of budget, so I actually did not take a salary for the first period. I just felt like maybe that was premature if the workstream didn't go well. Instead, opted for a optional performance bonus that could be allocated like as a leader bonus if the community thought that went well. So that is added into this proposal, the bonus for the prior quarter. It also includes a salary for myself over the next 3 months and a very minimal budget allocation for bounties and contributions. The reason that's so minimal is we only spent 4,300 on various bounties last quarter. So rather than ask for like another 50K, it's like shit. We only need just another 4,300 to bring us back to 50K. I don't think we'll need more than that for the next quarter at least. We've already gotten a lot done. Potential drawbacks, of course, maybe tokenomics doesn't need to be a funded official stream. We have a lot of people thinking about this already. In my humble opinion, it does benefit from having an official work stream. Anyway, I will be moving this to ideation probably tomorrow, where maybe we can incorporate more feedback. But yeah, really appreciate everybody's contributions to this over the past 4 months and everybody listening in on Tuesday. It's always so much fun to do these chats. And looking forward to doing more work with the DAO.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, thank you for all the work that you've done in structuring your work stream to be built on the success that you guys were able to provide to the DAO. Loved seeing everything that you guys have done over there, and I'm sure a lot of the other people on the call would echo the same. So excited to see this move on to the official voting section. And I would also echo that the tokenomics call where you did a deep dive there is a great place for anyone who would like to get more information on specifics that are covered here in your proposal, what you guys do.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Got an invite out to Conscious, see if he can hop up here as well. There we go. GM, good sir.
Is it on? It's on.
It is on. It's on.
Always on. Hi, and yeah, I have a proposal in incubation at the moment, which is basically what will become the permanent extension of the original infrastructure budget proposal. This is currently in the engineering workstream discussion forum, and references the original proposal for reference. And it's basically just 5 additional points that are adjustments on top of the original proposal, which is, the first of which is that the reimbursement currency will continue to be issued in stable coins, but is no longer limited just to DAI. The original proposal outlined DAI as the reimbursement currency, but we don't want to box ourselves into one particular stable. So right now, USDC is the favored coin. It also shifts the channel of reimbursement over to Colony from a Sablier stream, and this is advantageous for a variety of reasons, most paramount of which are relevant to number one, it actually encapsulates the engineering or the infrastructure budget as part of the engineering workstream's budget. It gives the engineering workstream leader control, transparency, and visibility over that. And it also enables more flexible reimbursement than Sablier, right? Sablier stream, it's a static amount. You shove it out there and you get what you get, what's pre-configured on a trickle. And sometimes, one of the lessons we learned in the early days of the taxi stake DC was that sometimes you need to reimburse a little more than you anticipated in that calendar month. So we need something that basically, a framework that basically gives us that flexibility. The other upper hand is that Colony is already in use by the DAO. It's already a tool that the DAO uses to orchestrate organization and payments internally. So this will just be, an extra loop in. The next major point is that rather than having a static monthly budget, it allocates sort of a range of budget with a minimum of 2,000 reimbursement a month and a maximum that scales depending on the business quarter for the calendar year of 2022. This schedule is pretty much just eyeballed based on the coin features that we plan on integrating. Next quarter, we're adding Cosmos and Bitcoin. We'll need to scale up for that. Quarter after that, we'll be adding more UTXOs. We'll need to scale up for that. And then Q4 2022, I think on the roadmap, I saw that we're planning on adding XRP. I'm not sure if anybody here has ever run an XRP node, but it is a greedy bastard, and we will need to definitely scale up just for that one blockchain. Basically $500 of increasing budgets. Now, it doesn't mean that Taxi Stake is going to claim that max amount every month, but that it's just available to claim based on what we expect to spend in that business quarter. The next point is that we are removing any sort of arbitrary term limits that may or may not have been set by the previous arrangement. The original arrangement just had the 3-month Sablier stream, which was meant to be sort of a litmus test of whether this was going to work at all or be a good arrangement in the first place. We think it is, and to that end, we want to just kind of make that arrangement a little more open-ended and sort of formally bless Taxi Stake as the dedicated cloud services provider for ShapeShiftDAO. One or both parties are empowered to terminate that arrangement at any time, either the engineering workstream leader or the Taxi Stake owner operator. And then the fifth point is mostly just a clerical thing that the budget allocation will need to be reviewed as the roadmap evolves. Right now, we're able to plan accordingly for the next few business quarters because we have a roadmap for the next few business quarters. But presumably, as the engineering workstream allocates a new budget for 2023, we will also want to look at what features and extra functionality are going to go into the Unchained stack and adjust budget and agree on budget accordingly. And that point empowers Taxi Stake and the engineering workstream to do that as they need fit or as they see fit, rather than requiring hard budget renewals or hard governance renewals every single time. And that is about it. I haven't really received any commentary / feedback on that, but there have been a few hearts, which definitely makes me feel like my existence is valid. So keep it coming. And if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or death threats, I'm happy to answer that now. Otherwise, we can move on.
Oh, your existence is very valid, sir. And
it's
I was
really
one of the hearts there.
Hearts the hearts on the forum are really what keep me breathing and moving through life every day.
Me too. That's how I get through each week of these calls. GM John, do you have some questions, sir? Maybe he's
right. There we go. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
So, Will, I really like the progression of this proposal and how you've evolved it. I think my only comment that I was thinking when I read this, but didn't have a chance to respond yet, was I get a little nervous about any sort of ongoing funding type of anything that has zero term limit, And one thought I had is maybe you just roll it basically directly into the engineering budget to be basically renewed with
Yeah.
since you said they're going to take it over going forward, and that way it can just be tied to that. And
Yeah.
basically, as long as that gets funded, it gets funded in whatever degree they're requesting every 6 months or whatever their term is. But I never, the one reason I always like term limits in any sort of funding personally from a governance perspective is it always just kind of forces a natural review of, is this thing worth renewing? Should we make any changes? And without that, I always worry that like something will just become ingrained and no one will question it, and then it'll just balloon, with no end.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree, and I think I just don't have the sort of insight or awareness of how all that stuff works on that side of the fence to sort of put verbiage in that to that end. And it's definitely just sort of implied at this time that it will end up getting reviewed with the next engineering workstream budget cycle, but that could definitely be more explicit. Anyway, if you have any. If you can comment with any suggestions on how I could word that explicitly, then I would definitely appreciate that, and I'd be happy to roll that in.
cool. Yeah, that would be great. I'll put something there on the forum, but it'll be something along the lines of this will just be renewed along with engineering's budget request on on their rolling term or something like that. But I'll put something in there that as a suggestion. That was my only comment as I was reading through it. Otherwise, it looked great.
Cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your feedback.
And my one comment would be that I'm A-okay with us not adding Ripple in Q4 of this year. And maybe we could do a separate poll on that. And if that might affect your bottom line, maybe we could divert it to another more interesting asset to be clogging the pipes with.
Yeah, definitely a fair thing for the community to consider.
I just saw it was on the roadmap. I'm just planning for what I saw on the roadmap.
It's a fair call out for sure, because it is definitely a resource hog and something to be considered if we want to host it. But yeah, I know that there's some internal bias here towards Ripple in general, and I just wanted to get my 2 cents in on it before everyone kicks the dead horse.
Oh, sure. Anybody else got any questions?
Doesn't look like it. I would say, just for those on the call or people watching afterwards who may not have interacted with Conscious much, Conscious is someone who's part of the ShapeShift Foundation as well, and is a master wizard with all of our backend stuff. So yeah, if you haven't seen this lovely avatar before, that's the man. He's one of the guys working with Ocean and Willie and a few others on Foundation things.
I put on my robe and wizard hat.
Ponder the orb a little bit.
Absolutely. Alrighty then. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Conscious. And thanks, John, for hopping up there as well. We do have another section of folks with proposals to discuss. And we've got Highlander, Meg, and Mario, if he's around. I'm not sure if Mario's here, but hopefully we have a Highlander or a Meg, or maybe a Pasta Ghost in Highlander's absence. Doesn't look like it. I will run through all of them then for posterity's sake. So there's a really great proposal or a great and long anticipated proposal for the KeepKey Workstream. KeepKey as a product has been acquired by a couple of ex-Foxes who are, one of them is a workstream contributor and another one is someone who's been kind of bountying and helping along on the side in Pasta Ghost and Highlander. And they've put up a proposal to get funding for a while and kind of do a 50-50 split between the KeepKey entity that they're kind of in charge of and running, and trying to get some of the expenses covered in all of this through the DAO and a KeepKey workstream. This would allow us to continue to make the KeepKey experience one of the best crypto experiences in general, and have its best experience be at the ShapeShift app. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of details and some questioning right now about KeepKey sales, budgets, and the relationship between KeepKey itself and the DAO that are going on inside the posts. So some good discussions just started to happen there, and I would highly encourage anyone who's been interested in the future of KeepKey or who has wondered what's going on with that in relation to the DAO and what we could be doing. This is definitely, they've been doing things behind the scenes, but this is definitely a big step forward in the public eye on how the DAO can be related to KeepKey and what we could be doing with this great piece of hardware going forward. And I see Mr. Nerdhair up on stage as well. I'm not sure if you had something specifically to share about the KeepKey, but happy to have you here with me.
Yeah, so especially given that Highlander and Pastigos haven't been able to make it, I just figured I'd jump up and give some chime in and support. Just for background, the KeepKey development has sort of taken a back seat for many months, just due to the priorities of the centralized entity being focused on the primary web platform and mobile stuff. And one of the things that I see consistently, both from an engineering side of things and from the security side of things, honestly, is that there is a great need for a open source hardware wallet with a strong community around it that can build support for new dApps and do a lot of the things that KeepKey would be well positioned to do. So our most professional bug reports come in on KeepKey, just out of deep background there. I know Highlander shared some sales figures for KeepKey on the forum. I think it's probably important to keep in mind that that overlaps the transition from the centralized entity to the decentralized one, or it's still centralized. They just own the hardware and the name and the physical side of it. But the point is that it's performing that well despite having been handicapped by our focus being on Web v2. So I think it's doing exceptionally well at the moment given the circumstances, and I think it can only get better. Disclaimer, I have no financial interest in KeepKey. I just happen to have 10 of them sitting on my desk. Thank you very much.
Only 10, sir. I've got more than that, but we've got the KeepKey men themselves here. Maybe you guys can add some color here to your proposal. GM boys.
Yeah, thank you for that, Reed. Highlander, if you had anything in particular to say, I just kind of jumped up here.
Yeah, I can open.
Sure.
GM guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's been a real opportunity to take over KeepKey. Throughout my entire crypto experience, self-custody has always been something very important to me, and it's been very important for me bringing crypto to the world that people have access to convenient and affordable and functional self-custody. And it's always been a large challenge onboarding people to get them, one, to understand the importance of hardware in general. We see this a lot with MetaMask and a lot of these software wallets, and it's a demolition derby out there. People are losing millions on NFTs and contracts and approvals. And I really think there's a huge opportunity for us to really change the ecosystem as a whole. We have our proposal up. I welcome any feedback on it. We're trying to figure out the best way for us to interact with the DAO. I do really want to stress that having sales numbers, that the goal isn't just to sell KeepKeys. The goal is to protect the assets of all the users of both the ShapeShift platform and of any crypto users in the ecosystem that we can get. Protecting those assets and keeping those assets interacting and in a safe place on our platform is the goal. And that overlaps with all the users in the ShapeShift platform. And so we're open to whatever we can do to make that a better experience. We've struggled a lot in the past to get permanence and to get more people using KeepKeys in the ecosystem. And yeah, I welcome any feedback from the community of how we can do a better job of that.
Thank you, Highlander. I would also echo that I'm so excited that you're finally getting your hands on this. I've spent many times inside the office hearing about people complain about how amazing KeepKey could be, and the rants I've heard from you about open source wallets and things like this. I'm so happy that we finally got this match to align, and you and Pasta goes together leading this. I couldn't be more bullish on where you guys could position KeepKey, its interaction with ShapeShift and its interaction with kind of the global crypto ecosystem.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. I really appreciate that. So I'm not sure how many the attendees on this call have had a chance to read over the proposal. Would it be valuable to give a quick overview of what is proposed by the KeepKey Workstream, what's proposed for the KeepKey Workstream, or have the majority of you either read the proposal directly or have already some idea of what it is that how we intend to partner with?
I think our audience is kind of like half and half. Some of them are really plugged into the forum, and some of them kind of just use this call as their bearing. So you definitely have the time on the stage here if you'd like to go in detail of the proposal specifics or anything like that you feel like highlighting for us and for posterity on the recording.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. So at a high level, and just to give a general overview, what we're proposing is a work stream through which KeepKey and ShapeShift can collaborate to the aim of trying to maximize the shared opportunity to benefit from the large pool of existing user funds that's currently stored on KeepKeys out in the wild. So as of March 2021, there was something on the order of $2.3 billion, most of that held in Bitcoin, stored on KeepKeys. It's pretty clear that it's in the best interest of both the ShapeShiftDAO and KeepKey to retain these customers and ensure that they're transacting these funds primarily through ShapeShift. And so what we intend to do is to establish a work stream that funds the engineering tasks necessary to make KeepKey the best hardware wallet experience available and ShapeShift the best place to use a KeepKey. It's intended that the work stream should only last for as long as that kind of partnership makes sense. But what we had in mind was a hybrid funding strategy whereby KeepKey is putting up 50% of the resources required to fund the engineering development efforts and the marketing efforts, and the ShapeShiftDAO is contributing the other portion. During the time that the KeepKey workstream is active, we'll also be sharing revenues from device sales in equal proportion, or as an equal split with the ShapeShiftDAO. So what we imagine what we're proposing the benefit to the ShapeShiftDAO is outside of device sales. Device sales are, will ensure that the ShapeShiftDAO is fairly compensated, for the efforts that are being contributed by the ShapeShiftDAO, the resources contributed by the ShapeShiftDAO rather. And so we'll have an equal stake in this partnership, and because of that, right, we should reap any short-term rewards. Any short-term rewards should also be distributed equally. But the benefit that we imagine is most in the interest of the ShapeShiftDAO is a long-term benefit, and that's the retention of users that are currently using KeepKeys as their primary wallet. So retention of them and the assurance that going forward they're going to continue to use ShapeShift as the primary platform through which they make their transactions. And so because ShapeShift has a recurring revenue model through the affiliate programs, this is a benefit that should long outlive the KeepKey workstream, should that be dissolved at any point in the near future. Do you have anything to add to that, Highlander?
Nope. Welcome any comments or concerns, we should be going into ideation here pretty soon. We've been in the forum for 3 days now, and we will just continue to go back and forth with any modifications or suggestions anybody has.
Hey guys, I have a question. I certainly support you two making KeepKey successful. I do have a question about if the DAO is really getting a fair deal here, I guess would be the way to frame it. So we're looking for $150,000 from the DAO treasury, and for that the DAO gets, I'm hearing like retention of users, like we keep it a great place for KeepKey to be, and we get half of the sales for the 6-month period of the proposal.
That's right.
There's no like stake in the, like, if KeepKey's currently a company, is that right? You're an LLC or an S corp or something like that. I mean, the DAO couldn't officially have any kind of stake in it, but it seems that if the DAO is gonna help the KeepKey, which is essentially like a startup right now, usually when other people invest, I would look at this as an investment in a startup. Like, for example, we made an investment in Silo, and we got 2 million Silo tokens. Now, we didn't get any share of revenue or anything like that, but it seems like there should be there should be something else or something. I don't know what, but it just doesn't quite seem even to me.
If this was being looked at as an investment in a startup, I would agree with you. But I don't think that that's the appropriate way to look at it, because it's not really what we intend here. At the current time, there are just a significant amount of work to be done that benefits both ShapeShift and KeepKey, and that won't always be the case. But it seems to me that because we've got a mutually aligned best interest here, it would make a lot of sense for us to work collaboratively to take care of that as effectively as possible. And that's what we're proposing here through the KeepKey.
And so basically the work that will be done, so you're kind of, maybe this is like a bounty to make KeepKey more useful on V2.
Yeah, you're getting to it. I want to direct you to the responsibilities piece of the work stream. This is not the DAO is not just giving KeepKey money to sell KeepKeys. We are creating a joint work stream to work on the V2 platform, including the maintenance of KeepKey integrations on legacy and V2 platforms, customer support when issues related to support. We have a whole set of bullet points in the proposal of what the responsibilities of this work stream is. And that has direct overlap with the DAO and the DAO's products. So it's essentially it's KeepKey investing in work being done on the V2 platform. And we're jointly going into this venture of keeping the development continuing, and so that we can be very specific on the things we need for the KeepKey integration to be better and
all of the engineering. I did read the proposal, like in the budget, right? You have a senior firmware engineer, a senior software engineer, junior software engineer. All of the software is V2, building on V2. There's no other, this is not to like build a new client or anything like that. Is that correct?
No, that's not entirely correct. So we are going to take over the responsibility of all of the V2 and beta work related to KeepKey. And we're also going to use a portion of the engineering effort, or whatever engineering resources are available, given the bandwidth that the budget allows for, to build out things like the KeepKey SDK. What am I trying to say? Revise the CLI tools, build a desktop application, cross-platform desktop application that allows users to more easily manage their devices, etc. If the KeepKeys, as it stands now, the user experience off hardware on KeepKey is strongly outmatched by Ledger Live and Trezor Suite. And I think reaching feature parity there is going to make KeepKey a much more usable device. if the KeepKey is not on parity in terms of user experience with the competitors in the industry, then there's nothing really to keep customers. What am I trying to say? There's nothing really to keep customers on KeepKey, and if they're not using KeepKeys, we have reduced leverage in ensuring that they stay in the ShapeShift ecosystem. So those items are what am I trying to say? As advantageous to ShapeShift as they are to KeepKey.
And and I see that the vote is to fund with 150,000 USDC. I'm guessing you don't have all of these roles ready to fill and pay now. Are you looking for, like, if the DAO gives 150,000, then the rest of the budget, whatever it is, will be made up by KeepKey, or will it be a split 50-50 of the actuals for the budget for 6 months?
Sorry, I'm not entirely sure I understand properly. I just want to give the right answer to the question.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that you don't have all of these roles ready to, like, let's say this was approved next week and you're ready to get $150,000 on April 1st.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing you don't have a senior firmware engineer, software engineer, junior software engineer, marketing manager ready to start on April 1st.
That's right. We don't yet.
So would the spend from the DAO be the 50% of the actual budget, or is this a commitment of 150,000 and then wherever the rest comes from, it for 6 months it may not equal 150,000, or if you go over budget, is that fully covered by
The spend from the DAO is 50% of the actual budget.
Okay, 50% of the actual.
And we've got discretionary funds.
That's not clear. Your yes vote says fund the KeepKey Workstream with 150,000 USDC. So maybe it should be fund the KeepKey actual expenses for up to 150,000 USDC or something like that.
So we wanted to ensure that in order to make significant progress over 6 months, we're going to need to have as much bandwidth, engineering bandwidth, as the budget calls for. We're not going to be able to make, with only, 3.5, considering the time that'll be available, between Highlander and I, working on this, between, I think, less than 4 total engineers. We're not going to be able to make significant progress in bringing some of these projects that we have in mind off the ground over the course of 6 months with less engineering bandwidth available. So we want to ensure that we can do that. So it's not at all likely to be the case that any of these roles will go unfilled.
It is great feedback, Josh. We
can. I don't think it's worth using at this time. We can talk about it in the forum too.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify your concerns on stage, in case these concerns were shared by other community members.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the questions I have for now. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some discussion going on in the stage chat as well, guys. One of the questions I see up kind of starting at the top there is, do you have the current amount held in KeepKeys? The things that are being referenced in the forum are like about a year old. Do you have any more recent analytics or insight into assets in orbit or anything like that?
No, and I don't think we intend to ever collect assets in orbit again. I was never in favor of doing that. But we did have assets in orbit of data that's old. We will be collecting install usages and daily active users and whatever non-evasive data we can collect. But no, we don't have a more recent up-to-date on how much money is held on KeepKeys because we don't know, and we actually don't really want to know.
Yeah, there's a kind of a more detailed question there from Ocean, just another line down. It's kind of along the same lines, but more so around that data being used to identify if these users are contributing to the revenues of ShapeShift. Maybe Ocean here can just speak his questions better than I can.
Thanks,
Yoshi.
Tyler. Hey, Postigos, Highlander. Thanks for bringing this whole thing up. I mean, I'm a little concerned. I think I share some of Josh's concerns that he shared around kind of the structure of the deal in general. And it sounds like there's no real data that supports that these users are currently generating revenue for ShapeShift or the DAO, and we may not be able to actually obtain that data. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so we no longer, as far as I know, we no longer have the means to run a report to assess assets in orbit that are currently held on KeepKeys. That was it's possible at centralized ShapeShift, but it's possible no longer, as far as I'm aware.
It is worth mentioning that with the new Pendo and the new protocols, we're going to have connections, so we'll know what percentage of users are using what wallets. We do have data when ShapeShift was centralized that showed that we did struggle heavily to get both Ledger and Trezor users to use the legacy platform in any kind of meaningful way. It was very clear that in numbers, Native and Portis are very large, but when it came to assets in orbit, KeepKey was very dominant on the previous platform. And I'd be interested to know how much of those assets are being used on the V2 platform versus V1. But the goal is to really have the whales and the large users giving them all the tools they need to make the best financial decisions on themselves, and give them the tools to start using things like Yearn and ways for them to earn themselves money. So we want to serve them, and by serving them well, they can earn revenue towards the DAO. But in general, software wallets rightfully don't handle a lot of funds because they're not very secure. So we need a better hardware experience on the platform as a whole. As long as people are using hardware, they're protecting their money, and they're good in my book. But yeah, historically, KeepKey has been by far the largest hardware wallet users on the ShapeShift platforms, and I'd be interested to figure out if that's still the case in V2.
I just wanted to chime in with some metadata on the source of those assets in orbit stuff. Those numbers were generated based on KeepKey users that had registered for accounts on the beta.shapeshift.com site, and then the information was scraped off the blockchain and out of their accounts in honestly a way that like when I realized what was going on, I did not feel good about it. I mean, it was all explicitly, it was all above board, but I didn't enjoy being involved in that process. So I understand that there's an instinct not to want to make an investment without data, but I think that's probably like the wrong way to look at the problem, because what we're selling here is in large part the ability to use our platform and have the best security and privacy experience. And we're doing as good as we can on that from a software wallet perspective. But when it comes to hardware wallets, which will capture a significant high value segment, Trezor and Ledger are just always going to give better experiences on their native apps that they are, Ledger Live, Trezor Connect, whatever that they're building in many ways as competition to us. I think having KeepKey, especially because the people that have assets on KeepKey, they aren't using our Web V2 stuff. I don't have to have data to know that. I know it because we haven't got to feature parity yet, and there's really not an opportunity for them to use things as heavily on V2 as they could on previous stuff. So
I use Trezor with the current web app all the time, and I think the experience is totally reasonable. I mean, it's obviously very Ethereum heavy, but
I use Ledger all the time, but it's routed through MetaMask. I'm just saying that if we probably don't want to compete, we don't want to stake our future in that space on competing where in a realm where the deck is going to be stacked against us. As long as we got to go through MetaMask, as long as as long as we're not deeply integrated with the hardware, we just have, you know,
And
a hole
another
in our
point
butt.
as well. I mean, Treasury is great. I agree. Ledger, it's better than Ledger. I do agree that a direct native integration is also smoother than just going through MetaMask. But one thing that we don't have with both Ledger and Trezor is the ability to inform the roadmap, right? And to add new chains that we want to support that maybe Ledger or Trezor don't yet support, or new curve types for zero knowledge proofs that Ledger and Trezor can't even support. So I just want to come up here and give my support for this proposal and for this work stream, and Highlander and Pastigos leading it. I do think all the questions around it are totally valid and stuff, but I think the responses are spot on, basically. And I think that, this isn't a guaranteed thing that's going to pay off for the DAO, but there's so much potential with KeepKey. It has potential to be a better hardware wallet than Ledger and Trezor, but it has been neglected over the past years. And I'm glad that it's finally getting more attention that it deserves. And I see a lot of potential from this partnership. And I think we have the opportunity here to make KeepKey the best hardware wallet. It doesn't need a lot, but it has been neglected. And with a few strategic things that I think Highlander and Pastigos have put a lot of great thought into. And also shout out to Mr. Nerdhair and the whole community who's been thinking about how we can make KeepKey the best. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think that you guys make a great point too, that if we don't become the best, if we're not the best interface for KeepKey, then we lose a lot of our existing users and assets in orbit. And while they may not be generating revenue for us right now, that's because we're just getting these revenue streams spun up. And yeah, I think I have no doubt that if we do provide the best interface for these KeepKey users, not only can we sell more KeepKeys and get more assets in orbit, but we can generate, I think, enough revenues to cover the cost for this. It's not a huge investment. KeepKey's co-investing, and they're going to be sharing their sales with us, which they don't have to do, but I think is a really thoughtful way to align incentives. All right, that's all.
I want to hop in here and just acknowledge the time. We've only got about 5 minutes left and a couple more proposals here. There was a comment in the thread about potentially doing a more full meeting and maybe even like an AMA about KeepKey and all these questions, and I think that's probably a good idea. So maybe we can do a longer meeting next week and coordinate with you guys to find a good time to do that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. I will follow up and get that on the calendar after this call, and we will post it in the event cal so everyone can RSVP. But let's look forward to a deep dive on KeepKey, on the proposal, and on anything and everything you guys have questions for of Pastigos and Highlander. And thank you guys for fielding all of those questions just now.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. And just to keep us moving right along so we don't go too late, we've got funding the customer support work stream. And I know that Meg actually had to step out. Her little one is sick right now, unfortunately. So I believe we might have someone else from the work stream that can step up and chat about this new proposal. Oh, there we go. Mogi, I see your hand raised. Let's get you up here, good sir.
Hey, what's
GM.
up? GM.
Not much, Mogi. How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, so Meg recently created a forum post discussing keeping the support team for another 8 months. She'll be on maternity leave in about 6 months, so that's why we're requesting the workstream be active for 8 months, which is a little longer than normal for workstream proposals. This would just be a one-time thing. The next proposal, if it keeps passing, we would end up requesting for another 6 months. But given the circumstances, we're asking for 8 right now. So that would put us to the end of the year having the customer support workstream. So yeah, check out the forum posts, leave any feedback you might have. If you think our support team doesn't totally suck, maybe even drop it a like. I see there's some likes already, so those are much appreciated. And yeah, I'll post a link here in the stage chat. And Meg will be able to discuss next week with some more details once it goes to ideation. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Mogi. One of the things that I know I have knowledge to that'll probably come up and will probably have its own separate forum post here is that Meg will actually be going on maternity leave here soon, which brings up like a larger discussion around how DAOs handle maternity leave in general. And so I know that the proposal that was just posted has that knowledge in mind, and that we might have a separate post or discussion for those that are looking into maternity or paternity leave and how we as a DAO can be as accommodating as possible in those situations. So I thought I would add that there as well, that is in detail about what's going on in Meg, the current workstream leader's life, and how that might affect the budget and the responsibilities of all the rest of the contributors there, like yourself, Mogi.
Yeah, definitely. Given that, we're a DAO, I'm sure it'll be super flexible, like, and accommodating, like everyone usually is here. So yeah, we'll figure it out.
We always do. We DAO it, don't we? Well, thank you, Mogi. Yeah, and if you could share that link there, we'll have to direct everyone's eyes for more hearts. And I believe Meg will be with us next week to go deeper into the fine details of this. So
that's the plan.
Cool. So I could use your eyes and your votes, or your eyes and your hearts right now, Fox fam, and your votes soon. Thank you very much, Mogi.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
And the last one that we have here, it doesn't look like we've got him in the audience. There's a new contributor. I'm not sure if I've seen him in the Discord, but he just hopped into the forum a little bit and seems pretty excited about Fox and our governance process, but might be needing some involvement and interaction with DAO contributors currently. He's looking to create an investor relations work stream proposal, and it kind of looks like it's potentially interested in communicating with different regulatory agencies to have our DAO help build exchanges. There's kind of a lot of different ideas here that maybe cross over with different current work streams that we have actively funded right now. And excuse me, things like the recently passed DAO to DAO VFOX proposal, I feel like might have some crossover, as well as maybe growth marketing, things like that. So perhaps we as DAO contributors can go check out this post from Mario and see if we can direct this passion and idea of where a contributor would like to help out with the Fox and the Fox fam, and how we can get that directed into a space for good for us. So there's a draft of this proposal, as well as some notes and some commentary. I know that PTT and Hunt were able to come in and give some early feedback. But if you are someone who is interested in biz devy sort of things, partner relations sort of things, investor relations, whatever that might mean to you inside this DAO, there's been the start of a conversation that's been posted in the forum post here by Mario, and we'd love to have your 2 cents on how we could shape this into something that would be of use and successful for the DAO. So if Mario, you see this recording, or you reach out to us on the post, we'd love to have you join us on a call maybe next time, so we can chat with you directly with the DAO about your ideas here. We have last week's forum posts from Willie, LPX, the staking rewards, as well as the Bancor 3. It doesn't look like anyone there is on the call here to give more updates. And all 3 of these, except for the draft proposal, I'm pretty sure kind of just going to float off into archived forum posts. Exciting things about staking, though. Exciting things about bounties. And then maybe a potential way for us to involve ourselves with funding more on the Bancor 3 liquidity pool. So if you've got some ideas you'd like to share there, those aren't too old right now, and we could definitely have some more conversation going on in the forum. And that is all I've got for our slides today. So if anyone's got any last minute questions, I know we're 2 minutes over already. Happy to answer them. Catching up here, it looks like there's a conversation still going on about KeepKey. And I will excitedly get that scheduled for next week. And please, if you're got thoughts around KeepKey and stuff, bring those with you to that call. And we will get everything answered straight from the horse's mouth. So thank you all for joining us, and make it a good GM, fam. I'll see you out there in the metaverse.